Captain Obvious called to tell us that did not go well. The O's in the Bronx, it was a mismatch. The O's got dominated by the Yankees, and they lose 4 straight. Welcome to Birdland Territory. Our latest show is the night after the final game in the Bronx, 12-1. The Yankees won it, leaving the Orioles, guys, 15-20, 9 out of first right now. They were outscored 39-10. And they've been outscored in a 5-game losing streak, 50-15. Other than that, things are great. But yikes, what a rough stretch for this team. And obviously the question that everybody's asking, Brad and Tim, is how they go from here, how they regroup, pick up the pieces. Team meeting, what do they do to try to get this thing right? The first thing I would say on their behalf is most of the American League is not playing great. One team is, and they just dominated the Orioles. So maybe they move on now to the rest, and hopefully they can handle them. They have to, guys, because what alternative do they have, right?
Yeah, I think you're right, Steve. I think you saw the class of the American League there, and it was a bold statement that the Yankees are a little bit further ahead of the Orioles than the Orioles are right now. So, yeah, maybe you just turn your attention to the wild card and kind of just see what's going on there, because I think in the standings they're a game and a half behind. So really, when you look at it, nobody in the American League is still taking off, and you kind of just have to roll past the series and kind of just take it as a bad stretch and not really look too deep into it and just kind of move past it. There's really a team meeting's not going to help. Kind of discussing what happened in the series isn't really going to help. I think maybe you can, talk about some of the positives and go from there. But I think going down to Miami, you're going to face a good team down there that it has good starting pitching right now. So it's not like they're going down there to face some of these recent Miami Marlin teams. You're going down there and facing a good pitching staff. So you just got to move past it, and hopefully that long flight last night and the late get in this morning doesn't carry over into this series and they kind of get rolling.
There's no way around it, guys. That was a troubling series. You see one-sided series throughout the course of any baseball team over 162 games, but this was a different level of one-sided series. The minus 29 run differential that Steve mentioned, 39-10 outscored, that's tied for the biggest run differential in the history of this franchise. You have to go back to May 11th through the 14th, 2000, going against the Red Sox, and just the runners in scoring position. Orioles were 4 for 27. Yankees were 18 for 38. Don't want to shortchange them. It was just a rough series. And it's gotten to the point where Craig Albertaz, I think it was following Sunday's game, called this a crucial stretch. What team do you want to be? Do you want to lay down, or do you want to get back up and fight? And Brad, I'm with you that you can look at it, in the sense that, hey, the rest of the American League is going through it right now. There's 3 teams right now with a winning record in the American League. It's unbelievable. But this Orioles team needs to stop the bleeding. You're 5 games under 500, and you can't continue to dig a deeper hole.
Yeah, and the former player me is always going to be positive and try to find the silver lining, because you don't have a choice. The games continue going on, and you got to go out there and play every single day. The analyst and the kind of fan watching this, like I was talking with Steve before the show, it's kind of the same things we've been talking about since we started this show. The second series of the year are still there. The starting pitching isn't pitching up to the standard that I think we have set for them. And it's the defense and it's the runners in scoring position. It's kind of the same problems we've been seeing from the beginning, and nothing has really changed at this point. And to me, that's the kind of glaring, concerning part of, do they turn this around, and when can they turn this around if they're going to continue doing the same things they've been doing?
And Brad, you mentioned the fact that this isn't the time for the closed door meeting in the clubhouse. You played in the majors a long time. One-sided series happen. What is this clubhouse? What do you think is going on inside of this clubhouse as they try to regroup?
Yeah, I think they're bummed. I think going into New York, you kind of hope to go at minimum 2-2, and then going to that game last night, you're kind of hoping to salvage by going 1-3, and you kind of move on to Miami and try to go 4-3 on the road trip. But now going 0-4, it was probably a pretty somber clubhouse last night. When you lose a series like that against the Yankees and someone in your division that badly, I think it does sting a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with that. But like I said, it's a 162 game season. And I know I've said that a million times, and we're not even 40 games in here. So you still have plenty of time, but you want to see the positives, and you want to get going and doing the things you can do better. And I think that's kind of where the players are at right now. It's just kind of looking at themselves saying, what can I do better to help this team win? And I need to start it tomorrow.
Over the years, many years covering baseball, I've always been amazed at baseball's players' ability to quickly move on. There have been times, guys, when the Orioles have lost 7 of 8. The town is down. Everybody's ripping them. And I walk in there and I go, these guys seem completely fine. They're ready to go because they have that turn-the-page mentality. But I do think a season that's going south, even this early, and you, Brad, you tell me if I'm onto something at all here, it can eventually start to bring those guys down. As upbeat as baseball players are, flush it, move on, day one, all these things, at some point it gets you. I hope doubt is not creeping in for the Orioles right now. I doubt it is, but they have to prove it in the record now.
No, I think you're right. I think it's one of those things where it's early, but the expression of baseball is it can get early late, or it can get late early, and it's starting to creep towards that point of the season where, like I said, it's kind of just the same things happening. I think they're all in good places right now, but I mean, you go to Miami, you lose 3-3, you get swept or something like that, then it's kind of like, oh man, like what do we need to do to turn this around quickly? Because you're just in that danger zone. I feel like 5 games under 500 is kind of teetering. I feel like you can get close to 10 games under real fast. As close as you are to being 500, you can be 10 games under real fast if things don't start heading in the right direction.
And what really concerns me the most, and we talked about it a lot leading up to the start of the season, we've talked about it during this show, where this was supposed to be the easier part of the schedule. And the O's have played 35 games. Only 6 of them have come against teams with winning records, which is crazy to think about. The Yankees and the Pirates, and the Orioles ended up getting swept in both of those series. And we've been saying for the past week or so, the schedule really turns up this month. Yankees come to town next week. You face the Rays in 2 series, and they're off to a hot start. The Blue Jays are at least starting to get back on track as they're dealing with a ton of injuries. It doesn't get easier. It does not get easier for this team.
No, it sure doesn't. And along those lines, Tim, to what you just mentioned, the Orioles have only played 3 teams this year that currently, standings as of today, are 500 or better. Cleveland, you cited the Yankees and Pittsburgh. They only won 1 game in those 3 series against the Guardians, 1-10 against 500 or better. Now, they are 5-3 in series against losing teams. So maybe that's telling us long-term some wins are coming against lesser teams, but at some point, you've got to step up to better teams. Obviously, you're going to need to do that in October if you can make it. And so I think that's a daunting stat for the Orioles right now.
Yeah, it's definitely concerning when 1-10 in 11 games. I mean, it's just when you said that out loud, I did realize they didn't do as well against those teams, but 1-10 is a stark message that is shown for this team. And yeah, it's not going to get any easier. You're not going to face teams that are under 500 for the entire season. Teams are going to get going. So you just kind of hope that the Orioles are one of those teams that kind of just get going and find their footing here. And as they head into June, just kind of see themselves in a better spot in the standings, because right now it's pretty bleak. And obviously I think it's kind of ramped up because it was against the Yankees. And I think because of the way the series went, I think it's kind of blaring, but the loss against the Astros before the Yankee series too was the same thing. It was a drubbing. So you're talking 5 games in a row now where there really wasn't even a chance to win one of those games. So it's got to get going, and it's got to get going pretty soon here.
And I don't even think they've had a lead in any of those 5 games, Brad. They didn't have a lead in the Yankees series either. And it just kind of gets back to what we've been saying. They got to get an early lead in games. The offense has to wake up over the course of the first 3 innings of ball games, because heading into last night, they were last in runs scored and last in batting average through the first 3 innings of ball games.
Elias Sports says the Orioles, who've been playing in Baltimore since 1954, have never lost 5 straight by 5 runs or more. They now have. This team has set history they didn't want to set. Now, I'll say this, and again, this is Pollyanna Steve talking. A couple of years ago, the Nationals were 19-31 and won the World Series. Not only did they make the playoffs, they won it. I'm not in any way saying this team is going to do that. There is precedent. You can bury yourself and you can dig out of the hole, but the hole is getting bigger with each loss. So the Orioles got to turn it in fast. We'll see how it goes in Miami. We'll talk more about this topic in a moment here on the Birdland Territory.
You know, we don't always have to do things because that's how it's always been.
Look, people consider me old school, and I thought I was, but then we had the pitch clock and the ABS and ban on shifts and all these things that we've had for a long time in baseball. And you know what? Much like Mint Mobile and the other mobile carriers, I'm here for the new school and the changes that have been made.
It's a good call. You can ditch overpriced wireless. You don't have to say, oh, I'm paying that, because that's how it's always been. Get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. If you like your money, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at mintmobile.com/territory. That's mintmobile.com/territory. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month 5 GB plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Get after it, FT fam.
So the Birds 15-20 now. They're playing the Marlins starting tonight. They are 16-19. And man, the team was hit with another gut punch on the injury front on Monday, when it was revealed that Jordan Westberg, who has a partial tear of his right UCL, is going to be shut down for now and reevaluated. The elbow is not responding again. He had a PRP. It hasn't fixed the problem. Fans are fearing surgery. That is not the team's take yet. Reevaluate and see, but it sounds not great at all.
Yeah, that's whenever you see an elbow injury and it's getting reevaluated, it's never a good sign. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but history kind of tells us when you have a injury like that, you get the PRP, you start your rehab or throwing program, and then it turns into reevaluation. It usually never ends in a good spot. I hope for Jordan it does, but it just kind of reemphasizes the point that there's no help on the horizon. There's no reserves coming to help out the starters that they originally had thought to start the year. It's looking more and more bleak by the day that they're going to be coming back anytime soon. So at this point, it's kind of, you can look at it 2 ways. I think from the player side, it's kind of like, hey guys, this is what we got. Like you don't have to look behind your back. Jeremiah Jackson doesn't have to look behind his back. You know, Blaze Alexander, the guys getting play at third base, don't have to look behind their back. They're going to be the guys. And it's going to be up to them to kind of chip into shape here and turn it around, and kind of, there's nobody coming to help from the injured list is what it boils down to. And it can be a good thing when players kind of see that on the active roster. They don't have to kind of look over their shoulder, somebody coming behind them.
Well, first off, I just feel terrible for Jordan Westberg, the person, because it seems like a great guy, hard worker, and a heck of a baseball player. This is a former All-Star. And I think the more you see this lineup without him, the more you recognize his importance, and just him being such a glue guy in this lineup, where you look at the offensive numbers when he's in it as opposed to when he's out of the lineup, and it's night and day. He drives in runs. He is a run producer. And I think for my money, including all this young core, he's their most clutch player as well when you look at his numbers with runners in scoring position. So it's a devastating blow. I'm with you, Brad. It seems like the writing is on the wall that he's going to get Tommy John surgery. And if you think about it from Jordan Westberg's perspective, still a young ball player, you might as well take the long view in terms of your career and just get it cleaned up and be ready for next year.
Well, and you're right, Tim. He is a glue. He's a clutch player. He's kind of he's not the captain. They're bigger, higher profile guys, but he's kind of like an unofficial captain. Yeah. I think he's like their security blanket. They just feel so good when he's in there, and he's proven to be that. And he was the one prospect, the opposite of rushed. We waited and waited. When is Westberg going to get here? And after all that time, look how it worked out. So maybe that's a message there. They over-seasoned him, and he hit the ground running. And he has told reporters what's so disappointing is he played all those years at Mississippi State and in the minors, almost no issues whatsoever. And now in the majors, constant issues. So it's hard to say he's injury prone. He never has been. But all of a sudden now everything's going wrong. So we wish him the best. They sure need him. I want to ask you guys about the first inning last night. 12-1. In the end, it didn't matter. But Aaron Judge, for me, is in a special category. When you throw a pitch that strikes him out and the umpire missed it on the fifth pitch to Judge, they didn't challenge. I think they should have challenged. Again, now we've almost reached the point with these challenges that teams are so afraid to use them early, don't want to lose one early. But again, I think they have to have a meeting where they say, guys, it's Aaron Judge. When we strike him out, even Alvarez said after the game, he deserved to earn his strikeout there. So do you guys think he's kind of like a special category guy in this for this role?
To me, I think he's one of 3 hitters in the major leagues that in the first inning, if you have a chance to strike him out, you got to take your shot. If you think it's close, it's worth the challenge. To me, Aaron Judge is in the scoring position when he's at home plate. So if you have a chance, you can't look at him the same as you do every other player, because when he's at home plate, he has a chance to hit a ball over the fence every time he's up there. It's just become fact at this point. So to me, I feel like he's in a different category, and it just seems like a good chance there. It was so close. Adley seemed like he wanted to, but you just have, it's like one of those things you just have to like right away do it. And unfortunately it bit him in the butt there. And he could have got out of that first thing with no runs because he got the next three guys out after that. So you never know how the inning's going to play out. And obviously hindsight's 2020, but personally, I think I would have taken a shot there. And like you said, Alvarez after the game said he wants the catchers to be more aggressive. If they think it's a good pitch, they're trusting them and to go after it and try to get that strikeout there.
I think when it comes to these challenges and using them early on, especially in the first inning of ball games, it's time and place. So you have to consider the circumstances that the Orioles had coming into that game. You just got beat bad the prior 3 nights, and you have a situation where Aaron Judge is 1 strike away from being out. This isn't to be 0-1 or 0-2. This is for a strikeout. It was a 1-2 count at the time, and I think that's where Adley needs to use it. And it was interesting looking at the StatCast this morning, guys. Adley's 6 for 8 when challenging pitches this year. So that's strong. 75% success rate when challenging. He's challenged 0.8% of challengeable pitches this year. And StatCast has what they call expected challenge rate. So how much he should be challenging. His expected challenge rate is 1.9%. So that's a difference of negative 0.1% over expected challenges. That puts Adley at the 8th worst percentage in baseball in terms of that differential. So when he's challenging, he's extremely successful. You will absolutely take the 75%. But those numbers that I just gave you, that illustrates what Craig Albarnaz is talking about. He wants to see Adley and Samuel Basayo be more aggressive with these challenges.
Interesting. So, Brad, you mentioned 3 guys. I'm going to guess Ohtani could be. Who are your 3?
It's good. Now that you put me on the spot, I think I'd still put Trout in there. I mean, I would. He's having a great season at this point. It just off the top of my head, I was thinking of him, and there's not many other guys. Ben Rice might be in that category right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, you have a chance to strike him out. So yeah, Ben Rice. I don't know. I think Trout still he deserves to still be in that top tier category.
Oh yeah, he's had a little resurgence this year. Vlad Guerrero, he could be one. The only Orioles don't see Ohtani much, but he's in that class. So yeah, there's a select few guys when you get a chance to strike him out. And Tim, I think you're right. I think the message to Adley is you're having a great year. Be a little more aggressive. We believe in you. If you start getting 3 or 4 in a row wrong, maybe we'll pull back the handle a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, again, Steve, it's time and place. Like if it's to get an out, and Craig Albarnaz has been very steadfast in talking about that. If it's to end an at-bat, that's a different category as opposed to go up 0-1, 0-2 in the count. If you can end an at-bat And especially considering the slide that the Orioles had been on heading into that game, then you throw in that it's Aaron Judge. That's the time to be aggressive. You don't want to just be firing off challenges just to be firing them off. But if it fits the time and place criteria, yeah, be ready to tap the head.
Exactly. So the Birds lose 12-1 Monday night. They have been swept 4 straight here against the Yankees, and now it's on to Miami. Birdland Territory with you today. A little bit more to do on this show, so hang with us.
Big Bad Morning Show. Vinny and Haney. Inside Access. Live on YouTube weekdays 6 till 6. Search Baltimore 105.7 The Fan. Subscribe for daily shorts right to your phone and never miss what you missed. 105.7 The Fan.
So a winning team needs 26 active and probably 50 guys over the year to perform at various times. But I go back to what we talked about going into the Yankee series. We were hoping the stars would step up. They really didn't in this series outside of Alonso, 5 for 14. He had a double and 2 homers. But Adley was 1 for 17. Ward was 1 for 10. Gunnar was 2 for 13. I mean, you add all that up. Yikes. So that's where it's got to start, I think. It's great to have Jeremiah Jackson doing what he's doing. Tavares, Kobe had a little home run stretch, and you need all that too. But it's going to start with this group.
Yeah, I think you're right, Steve. I think all the guys on the team look up to those guys, and they expect them to kind of be the leaders and just show them the way, show them how it's done, be the ones that set the tone. And then when you have the other guys pitch in, that makes it even better. So I think that's pretty much what it boils down to, is you want your stars to perform at the level you expect them to, and everybody kind of follows in. When you think about this offense, if you had the guys at the top of the lineup performing to their career norms, then you throw in Jeremiah Jackson, then you throw in Tavares, what he's done, you throw in all these guys and what they add to it, I think the record looks way different because they've had so many close games early in the season. If you have those guys performing where you expect them to, or what you have come to expect from those guys, I think this record looks way different. And they set the tone, and the rest of the guys kind of just follow behind, and it makes their job easier when those guys are doing what they do.
It boils down to just a couple things for me. The stars got to be stars, the guys that you were talking about, but then it gets into a season-long issue where you can't beat yourself, guys. When you're struggling as much as the Orioles are struggling right now, you can't give up unearned runs. You had the Leody Tavares throwing error where Ben McDonald, I thought that he was right. Maybe Gunnar Henderson could have taken a step in or two to field that relay throw more clean. That caused the runner to go from second to third. Bellinger ends up hitting a sac fly, unearned run there. There was a wild pitch by Shane Baz in the 6th inning where it really got away from him in that inning, and that led to a unearned run there. You can't beat yourself when you're going through these type of struggles. You have to avoid the self-inflicted wounds.
So hopefully they start to get some things right here in Miami. Then they play the Athletics at home. Then they play, oh, by the way, the Yankees again in a week. So they're coming back to Baltimore, and losing to them on the home field will be worse than losing in the Bronx, although it's never good to lose to the Yankees. So they got some things to fix here. What's it like, Brad, do you think, for those guys now we're in a social media age, which you saw at the end of your career, probably not to the extent these guys do now. The whole town is screaming for firings, change, trades, do this. It's a reaction. It's a fishbowl. I feel it as a media guy. I'm not even part of the team, but fans are screaming at me as if I'm on the team. And so and Tim, you get it on the radio. It's crazy right now. And amidst that, they have to try to win.
Yeah. Biggest advice is get off of social media. Like it's not going to help anything that's going on right now. You're going to hear a lot of opinions from a lot of people that don't really understand what's going on in the inner workings of the team. And at the end of the day, it's not going to help your mental well-being. It's not going to help you perform better on the field. I mean, I would drag myself into it sometimes too after bad outings, go in there and look at some of the comments. And it's like, why would I do that to myself? Why would I put myself through that? It's on your phone. You have a lot of downtime, and it's just kind of one of those things that just kind of pops up and, oh, let me check it out. But like, it's not going to do any good. It's not going to help you. I mean, the guys that are in that clubhouse all have your back. The coaching staff all have your back. You want to talk to somebody about your performance or whatever, go talk to those guys. Hear what they have to say. They're going to give you something that will at least give you some feedback on the field. And if it could be positive, it could be negative. But either way, you're going to get some reinforcement of what you think you might need to work on, what you need to do better, and kind of just stick to that. It's just stay with those guys in the clubhouse and kind of just keep the noise out, because it's not going to help. And at this point, who knows? This team could be in the World Series, like you said. So at this point, it's hearing all these negative comments or what people might have to say is just not going to do anything good. And it's kind of just stay off it and just put your head down and go out there and play every day.
Brad, Steve brings up the radio side of it, and Steve's been doing it for a while. Steve has gotten his fair share of crazy callers after games, and obviously we're taking calls on the show yesterday, and of course it's people, oh, this team needs a wake-up call. They need a kick in the butt, something like DFA this guy, send down this guy. And I just wonder, as a former player, like, is that a wake-up call? Is that something that is overblown? Is there even an instance throughout your career that you can think of where, oh man, this guy got sent down, I really got to step up?
Yeah, I think,
is that a thing at all?
Yeah, honestly, I when you sent me that text this morning to kind of think about it, there's not a single move I can remember that kind of like sent a shockwave through the clubhouse and was like, man, that was like, that's a big time wake up call kind of thing. I mean, throughout the season, guys are DFA'd obviously and sent down. And yeah, I said it's kind of one of those things where us in the bullpen, we kind of pay attention more to it, I think, than even the position players or other guys on the team, because it's usually one of us that are getting sent down or DFA'd or something like that. So a lot of times when a move is made, this is going to sound weird how I'm saying it, but half the team might not even realize it until the game starts, because everybody's so into like doing their own work, what's going on. Unless it's one of your like really good buddies on the team, you're not really going to be affected by it or know that it's even happening until the game starts. And you kind of look down the bench and see this guy and it's like, yeah, well, he got sent out or he got DFA'd. So I understand what the fans are saying when they talk about that. It's kind of, they need a wake up call. They need this, they need that, but I just want to know who would you send down, or who would you call up, or what move would you make that would send a shockwave but not hurt the team out on the field? So it's kind of one of those things. Like I said, I understand where the fans are coming from, but it's not really going to do much in the clubhouse. These guys are locked in on what they're doing every day, and they're so focused on their work that half the time they might not even know that this shockwave of a move was made.
And that was my rebuttal, right? Where, okay, you want to send so-and-so down, you want to DFA. Well, who are you bringing up? Like just doing that just to do it, and it's a detriment to the team, then what are you really sending? Like I get it. I get the frustration, and we're frustrated watching it, but you know what? I'm sure the guys in the clubhouse are 20 times more frustrated than any of the fans or we are. Like, they get it. They're living it. We're just watching it. And I think it's just important to kind of refocus in that way.
Yeah. And I think also too, a lot of fans want to see a reaction, but it can go both ways. Like you see a frustrated reaction. It's like, oh, he's got to keep a level head. You don't show a reaction. Yes. Oh, I want to see fire from this guy. So it's like, it's this thing you can't win. And really you want to have everybody. It's such a long season. We've talked about it a billion times, but it's such a long season. You have to keep a level head. I know you want to see guys frustrated. I know you want to see guys mad. I can tell you from experience, these guys are frustrated. They're mad. They're upset. They're not happy with their performance. I've been there before, more times than I like to admit. But at the end of the day, you have to come to the field the next day as level-headed as possible and ready to win that day's game. That's really all you can do. That's all you can control. At this point, the 4-game series is gone. Yes, they got their butts kicked. Every single guy in that team knows they got their butts kicked. But today, you know what? It's a brand new game. You have to go out there, and when the ball, or especially in the bullpen, like for my instance, when your name is called, you have to be ready. And if you have a lead, you have to keep the lead. If you go out there in a blowout, keep the game where it's at. It's just kind of what it is on a daily basis. And that's really the true grind of playing at the major league level, is every day you're 0-0, your ERA is 0. You have to go out there and kind of keep that mentality the whole season. If you don't, you find yourself way behind the 8 ball. And next thing you know, you look up at the scoreboard and you're like, man, I have a 13 ERA. Man, I'm hitting 150. And you just can't play baseball that way. I know what the fans want to see, but it's just really hard to play a 6-month season that way.
And I will add this. The shockwave move was firing Brandon Hyde last May.
Yeah.
The team got a little better and finished well short of the playoffs. And they're still floundering. Did it work? It really hasn't to this point. Doesn't mean it won't, but Brandon Hyde did a pretty darn good job. And that clubhouse was stunned because they really liked and respected him, and they realized they helped get him fired, and they couldn't get him back. So that was a shockwave move. Doesn't always work, but something needs to work for the Orioles. We're all in agreement on that. We just don't have answers, and they don't either right now. Doesn't mean a week from now when we're taping this show, the outlook might be very different. Let's hope so. It'll be more fun to talk about. Another Birdland Territory, another good one. You guys are doing a great job. I really enjoyed doing this with Brad and Tim, and enjoy all the fans checking us out. And please subscribe to our channel. Helps us a lot. So for Brad and Tim, Steve checking out. We'll talk to you next time on Birdland Territory.